start in the Middle East, where over 500 people have now been killed in Syria's southern Sweida province, according to the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights. The rising death toll follows several days of violent clashes that prompted the deployment of government troops to the predominantly Druze region. The monitor says 79 Druze fighters and 154 civilians from Sweida were among the dead, including 83 people reportedly executed by security forces from Syria's defence and interior ministries. On the government side, 243 personnel have been killed, along with 18 Bedouin fighters. The report also cites retaliatory executions of 3 Bedouin tribesmen by Druze fighters. The heavy toll underscores deepening fractures within Syria just months after the new transitional government took power following the fall of Bashar al-Assad. Meanwhile, a senior Kurdish official has called on Damascus to reassess its stance on minorities. Bedran Sia Kurd from the Kurdish-led administration in northeast Syria urged the leadership to engage in a national dialogue and respect Syria's ethnic and religious diversity. His appeal comes amid fears that minority groups, including Druze and Kurds, are being sidelined in the current political and military push to centralise authority. The situation in Sweida remains tense, with reports of sporadic gunfire and tank movement in some neighbourhoods. We're now joined by John Rossamondo, who's the president of Viking Research Associates and geopolitical analyst. He joins us from Washington, D.C. Thank you very much, John, for joining us. I wanted to first start with that reaction from the Kurdish officials. How significant is this public appeal in Damascus for the broader dynamics of Syrian governments since the fall of Bashar al-Assad just a few months ago? How would you analyse the current situation that is unfolding in Syria, seemingly by the hour?
Well, let's look at it this way. You have, Ahmed Shara, formerly Abu Muhammad al-Jawani, who headed the former al-Qaeda organization, Jabhat al-Nusra, is now the nominal president. Either Shara is just a figurehead who has no real power, or it's like in Libya where the militias run everything. You have jihadis in Sweida wearing ISIS patches, massacring civilians in a Sweida hospital. You have men being assaulted and having their mustaches ripped off by jihadis to try to religiously humiliate them. So it's a really horrible situation, and the Kurds in the northeast are watching and saying, we don't want to be part of this.
Yes, and John, obviously yesterday we saw a huge Israeli strike on the military HQ in the Syrian capital. Israel maintains that it is protecting the Druze minority in Syria. Given these recent clashes, what is the likelihood of further violence erupting both in Syria and more regionally as well?
Well, right now, Syria is completely in a state of flux. I think that Israel went and dropped a bomb outside the Syrian Defense Ministry as a reminder to them to clear things up. I mean, I think that what we're seeing is that Damascus really does not have direct control, and if it does, it doesn't care about what the jihadis are doing. Back in March, you had Unit 400, which is a HTS Special Forces operation that killed 1,500 Alawites. So this is a really deadly situation.
Well, yes, of course. We actually saw Donald Trump meet the new Syrian leader back in May in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, along with him lifting the the sanctions which had been in place for years. in regards to relations with the United States and how the United States might react to this ongoing and escalating situation. What do you think Washington is thinking right now?
Well, unfortunately, we've seen President Trump outsource his foreign policy to Saudi Arabia, to Turkey, and to Qatar in this respect. The head of the National Security Council's Middle East North Africa division, who opposed this policy, was fired. So I think that you're going to see more effort by Ambassador Barak, who's Trump's Syria envoy, to cover this up and just want to play like everything's normal.
Let's move on to regional implications now. You have neighbouring states, including Turkey and, of course, Iran, but you also have foreign influence inside Syria, e.g. Russia, who has a huge presence in the Middle Eastern country. How might this development affect Syria's relations with these neighbouring states and also external backers like Moscow as well?
Well, let's put it this way. Turkey and Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, which is the ruling group in Syria, have an intimate relationship. All the top leaders are affiliated with Turkish intelligence, the MIT. Iran likely will be trying to stir up the Shia population, which has a grievance now against HTS because of persecution of the Shia. Russia has only real interest keeping the naval port in Tartus that it's occupied for 50 years.
Yes, and in your view, what can these international actors, including the United Nations, in fact, and obviously and also regional organisations, play in ensuring minority protection, stability, de-escalation here in Syria's post-Assad order?
Well, I think that the biggest problem you have, according to my sources in the northeast of Syria, is that you have an Islamist and Arabic supremacist ideology that does not really care about the needs of the minorities. The policy that the Trump administration is pursuing to try to force everybody under Damascus will lead to another civil war. We had the same problem in the first civil war because everybody was suppressed under the Arab supremacism of Bashar al-Assad.
John Rossomando, thank you very much. Always a pleasure having your insight on